Welcome to About Mansfield. It's your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo, broadcasting from the Cellmark Studios, along with the About Mansfield news team. Colleen Daniels, she's out there in Studio West. This is the June 11th, 2025, 275th edition. Coming up, it's Mansfield news, talk, and information.
And a little later in the episode, you will have a chance to win a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice with our Mansfield Trivia Question, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance.
Let's take a look at the stories we're covering this week.
Election results are in.
City Council seeks railroad quiet zones. We'll talk about it in a moment with the mayor.
Improvements underway at Mansfield Dog Park.
And in sports, Lake Ridge gridiron phenom signs a deal with the 49ers.
And in the talk segment, Steve travels the country with Mansfield resident Steve Binkley. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo, and summer is here, and you know what that means. It's the perfect time to visit Hawaiian Falls. Right now, Hawaiian Falls Mansfield Staycation Splash Pass is only $49.99 plus tax and includes unlimited visits all season long. With fun and refreshing attractions for the entire family, there is no better way to cool off and make fun family memories all summer long. To purchase your pass and to find out more information on operating days and hours, check out hfalls.com. Again, that is hfalls.com. Mahalo.
Looking for a night out that's anything but ordinary? Step into Vault Seafood and Steakhouse, Mansfield's premier upscale dining experience. Savor perfectly aged steaks, fresh seafood, and handcrafted cocktails, all served in a stunning atmosphere. Want more? Enjoy private dining rooms and a cigar lounge for that extra touch of luxury. Vault delivers exceptional flavor in a one-of-a-kind atmosphere. Located at Matlock and Country Club, Vault Seafood and Steakhouse. Unforgettable nights. Unmatched taste.
Hi, I'm Darrell Evans of the 1984 World Champion Detroit Tigers, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by Vault Seafood and Steakhouse.
Voters in Mansfield have made their choice. In Saturday's City Council runoff for Place 5, financial advisor Todd Simmons decisively defeated restaurant owner Melissa Perez. According to unofficial results published by the City of Mansfield, Simmons captured approximately 65% of the vote, earning about 2,622 votes, while Perez secured 35%, with 1,417 ballots cast in her favor, with just over 4,000 total votes cast, representing an 8.7% voter turnout. This runoff arose after none of the four candidates in the May 3rd special election, including Simmons, Perez, Lance Hood, and Eric Rozak, reached the 50% plus one threshold. Simmons will be sworn in at the June 23rd City Council meeting and will now serve the remaining 2 years of former council member Julie Short's term after her resignation to run for mayor.
And speaking of the City Council, Colleen, the City Council held a regularly scheduled meeting on Monday evening. The following opinions of those of Michael Evans may not necessarily reflect those of the Mansfield City Council. We call this a moment with the mayor. Top of the morning, Michael Evans.
And top of the morning to you, and it's good to have this moment with you, sir.
Monday night, it was a pretty short, pretty concise meeting, but started with a work session. Were you going to save the residents money?
You know what? That is definitely the hope. So we did begin with a work session led by Troy Listina, and we began talking about the 25-26 budget, homestead exemptions. You know, we're at 16% in regard to the homestead exemption rate. Our hope is to get to 20% eventually. So I cannot say yet that we are going to raise that, but we are definitely on our way. So hopefully the next time we get together, I'll be able to report some breaking news. How about that?
That would be good news.
All right.
Then we got into the general session, and we said goodbye to a friend.
Yeah, we did, and you're right. Friend, colleague, City Council gave an acknowledgement of service to my colleague, Councilwoman Julie Short, for her years of service and dedication to Mansfield. We appreciate all that she has done over the years, and I tell you, I celebrated a good partnership with Ms. Short and just working together. We've seen some great things happen in our time together, so kudos to her.
There you go. And also acknowledged the lady who likes to work with numbers.
Yes, Ms. Darcy Lupton, our senior accountant. She recently completed the North Central Texas Council of Governments New and Emerging Finance Directors Program. So, listen, Darcy is up and coming, and we just want to celebrate the fact that one, she completed that. The other is that she's on our team.
There you go. You had 3 consent agenda items. All of them seem pretty important. Let's go ahead and tap in on all 3 of those.
Sure. Including the assignment of a property lease at Hawaiian Falls Water Park. That's going to continue to get bigger and better. And also an acceptance of grant funding for a fire safety training trailer designated to really simulate real-life emergency scenarios. We want to continue to get the equipment that our police and fire need to make our community safe and also keep them safe as well.
Yeah. Finally, on the agenda, I mean, we told you it's a pretty concise agenda item this time around. Let's silence the horns.
Okay, you know what? We can silence the horns. So for many years, we've been talking about railroad quiet zones.
Yeah.
So we're going to begin the process of funding those. So we're going to be dealing with the one located at New Patterson Road, Smith Street, and Williams Court, West Hill Parkway. Now, I'm hoping that we're setting all of that up. And it started on last night where we held our first reading on a zoning change, Steve, for 46 acres located at Highway 287 and 1401 South Main Street, with half of that land designated as the future site of a Costco wholesale store. Yes, we can finally just say it full-throatedly. So you know that our residents, they've been repeatedly asking for major retailers to come to town. And you know what? We're just getting started. And we're happy to make those necessary first steps.
Yep.
And we're really, focusing on the future and strengthening our healthy economy in Mansfield. So, we believe that this is what the voters voted for. This is what they want. And we're going to continue to make this a great place to live, work, and play.
Costco. So I can continue my 43-year membership.
You can do that.
Here in Mansfield.
Yes, sir. And you know what? They may give you a Costco hat or a little Costco Huggy Bear or something.
I was thinking maybe a Rolex watch or something. But
well, that would come with a 60-year membership.
Oh, the 60-year.
Yeah. Hang
that,
on.
my friends, is A Moment with the Mayor. That is Michael Evans. Michael, go forth. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
See you, sir. See you then.
The City of Mansfield is making upgrades to Man's Best Field Dog Park. Phase 2 of construction is in progress, bringing several new amenities aimed at enhancing the experience for dogs and their owners. Among the improvements, string lighting is being installed across all 4 paddocks to extend evening use. The existing pond is being converted into a fenced-in swimming area for dogs. A new trail and dog wash station are being added near the main entrance, and a rentable pavilion with seating is going up in the central open space. During construction, intermittent closures of individual paddocks will occur, with at least one area expected to remain open for each dog size. However, full park closures may be necessary on occasion. The city expects work to wrap up by winter. For more details and updates, visit the Mansfield Parks and Recreation Department online.
Lake Ridge football star is headed to San Francisco, and we'll talk about it because sports is next.
Hungry for bold flavor and a good time? Head on over to El Primo's to enjoy sizzling fajitas and their signature blue margarita. Enjoy weekend live entertainment and let the kids run wild with an outdoor play area and arcade. Planning a party? Multiple private rooms are available, including the all-new Parrot's Nest to make your event a success. Food, fun, and flavor for the whole family at El Primo's. Visit elprimos.net and bring your appetite. Located at Matlock and Country Club. El Primo's, where the locals go.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo, and summer is here, and you know what that means. It's the perfect time to visit Hawaiian Falls. Right now, Hawaiian Falls Mansfield Staycation Splash Pass is only $49.99 plus tax and includes unlimited visits all season long. With fun and refreshing attractions for the entire family, there is no better way to cool off and make fun family memories all summer long. To purchase your pass and to find out more information on operating days and hours, check out hfalls.com. Again, that is hfalls.com. Mahalo.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
In sports, the San Francisco 49ers have officially added Lake Ridge alum and wide receiver Malik Knowles to their roster. The move comes after veteran receiver Trent Taylor was placed on injured reserve, creating a roster opening. Knowles, he stands at 6'2". He's 196 pounds. He is a dynamite out of Kansas State. He entered the NFL back in 2023 as an undrafted free agent. He's spent time with both the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers, but has yet to appear in a regular season game. As a collegiate athlete, Knowles delivered over 5 seasons with the Wildcats, posting 127 receptions, nearly 1,900 yards, 14 receiving touchdowns, plus 36 carries and 440 rushing yards and 4 rushing scores. He also made an impact on special teams as a kick returner, earning second-team All-Big 12 honors in 2021. Malik Knowles graduated from Lake Ridge High School in 2018. During his senior year, he recorded 40 receptions for 846 yards, 15 touchdowns, and earning him first-team All-District 10 5A honors. He also participated in track and field while at Lake Ridge. At just 24 years old, the Mansfield native is now positioned to showcase both his receiving and return skills in the Bay Area. With spring workouts behind him and the minicamp on the horizon, the 49ers are looking to bolster their offensive depth and special teams. Knowles will compete in off-season and preseason practices for a spot on the 53-man roster. Elsewhere in sports, Lake Ridge student Kylie Pete has been called up to represent the U16 U.S. Women's National Soccer Team, and for good reason. The freshman forward was named District MVP for District 3 6A, an impressive feat for a freshman, and earned Player of the Match honors multiple times this past season. On the field, Pete tallied 2 goals and 2 assists in a 7-2 win over Legacy, recorded 2 goals and 3 assists in a 9-1 drubbing of Crowley, and scored the lone 2 goals and 1 assist versus Boswell in a 2-0 decision. The under-16 U.S. women's national team is the next generation of U.S. soccer stars. The team is led by head coach Ciara Crinyon. The 3-game tournament will be based in Uden, Netherlands next week, and the U.S. girls will have a trio of tough matches. The USA girls will kick off on June 11th against the Dutch hosts, then face powerhouse Germany on June 13th, and close it out on June 16th versus Norway. And that, my friends, is a look at sports. This coming Sunday, June 15th, is Father's Day, a time to celebrate dads, grandfathers, uncles, and father figures all across the country. The holiday was first recognized nationally in 1972. And for context, Mother's Day was first recognized nationally in 1914, some 58 years earlier, but I digress. Father's Day honors the role fathers play in family life and society, from backyard grilling to smoking Texas barbecue and homemade cards to high-tech gadgets and gift cards. Don't forget soap on a rope. Americans are expected to spend over $20 billion this year showing their appreciation. While the traditions may vary, the message is still the same. Thank you, Dad, for your love, your guidance, and support. And if you haven't made plans yet, don't worry. If you're lucky enough to still have a dad that's with us, a simple phone call, a shared meal, or perhaps a little quality time can mean even more than just a gift. Happy Father's Day.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
I'm Angel Biasatti, and today we're talking about wellness within reach, where we explore practical ways to live healthier, happier lives, one step at a time. On Methodist Mansfield, News to Know.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, we're continuing our summer grilling series with a vibrant purple refresher that marries the jammy sweetness of seasonal berries with America's native spirit and the timeless appeal of homemade lemonade.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by El Primo's, where the locals go.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
Congratulations to Mary Taylor, who knew that the latitude and longitude coordinates for the intersection of Main and Broad in downtown Mansfield are 32 degrees, 33 minutes, 48.6 seconds north by 97 degrees, 8 minutes, 31.3 seconds west. When we come back, this week's trivia question. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
It is time right now for the highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield trivia question. If you are the first person to email the correct answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com, you will receive a $25 gift card to a Mansfield area restaurant of your choice. It's brought to you by Joe Jenkins Insurance. Whether you're looking for homeowners, auto, commercial, or any other type of insurance, Joe has helped Mansfield area residents understand the insurance coverage that best fit their needs since 2010. You can find him on the internet at joejenkinsinsurance.com. Colleen, it's your turn.
Well, Steve, most Mansfieldians know that the city of Mansfield is split between 3 counties. The majority lies within Tarrant County, with the remainder in Ellis and Johnson counties. This week's question is, which county contains more Mansfield real estate, Ellis or Johnson? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Again, which county contains more Mansfield real estate, Ellis or Johnson? Good luck, and thanks to Joe Jenkins Insurance for the gift card.
Hi, I'm Olympic athlete Joe Brown, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section. Angel Biasatti is here with news on how to live a happier, healthier life, one step at a time, in Methodist Mansfield, News to Know. Angel?
Today, we're teeing up a topic that might surprise you, the many health benefits of golf. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or just enjoy the occasional trip to the driving range, there's more to this sport than meets the eye. Let's dive into how golf can be a game changer, not just for your scorecard, but for your overall well-being. Golf may not seem intense at first, but don't be fooled. Walking 18 holes, which can cover 4 to 6 miles, burns hundreds of calories and gives your cardiovascular system a serious boost. Carrying your clubs, swinging repeatedly, and walking across the varying terrain all contribute to building strength, flexibility, and balance. In fact, studies have shown that regular golfers have better mobility and physical endurance than many non-golfers in the same age group. And here's the kicker. Even if you ride a cart, you're still engaging in low-impact, moderately intensive activity that supports joint health and muscle tone. It's a great way to stay active without putting too much stress on your body. But golf doesn't just benefit the body, it's incredibly good for the mind. Spending time outdoors in nature has been shown to reduce stress, improve mood, and enhance cognitive function. The combination of fresh air, greenery, and sunshine, plus the focused, meditative pace of the game, can help quiet the noise of daily life. Golf encourages patience, strategic thinking, and mindfulness. Every swing requires concentration and control, which keeps the brain sharp. It's like a workout for your mind, disguised as fun. Another major benefit of golf is the social interaction. Whether you're playing with friends, family, coworkers, or even meeting new people on the course, golf fosters connection and community, and that matters. Social interaction has a profound impact on mental health, helping to reduce the risk of depression, anxiety, and even cognitive decline in older adults. Golf courses also offer a unique space for intergenerational bonding, where grandparents, parents, and kids can play together, building memories and relationships across the ages. Here's something remarkable. Research from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden found that golfers have a lower mortality rate and a longer life expectancy, about 5 years, compared to non-golfers. The combination of regular physical activity, social engagement, and time outdoors plays a huge role in this. Golf might not be the cure-all, but it's certainly a step toward a healthier, more balanced life. So the next time you pick up your clubs, know that you're doing more than just playing a sport. You're investing in your health, your happiness, and your future. I'm Angel Biasatti, reporting for About Mansfield podcast.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up a vibrant purple refresher in this week's Cocktail of the Week. Brian?
Today we're featuring another bourbon cocktail that's sure to become a staple at your summer cocktails. Today's feature is the Blackberry Bourbon Lemonade, a stunning summer sipper that combines the rich warmth of bourbon, the sweet, tart burst of fresh blackberries, bright lemon juice, and the floral sweetness of honey syrup. What makes this cocktail perfect, in my opinion, for barbecue season is how the bold fruit flavor stands up to the smoky grilled foods, while the refreshing citrus notes cleanse the palate between bites. So what are we going to need to make this special cocktail? Bourbon, again, about 2 ounces per cocktail. This is for a fruit-forward cocktail. I recommend a bourbon with good caramel and vanilla notes, but not too much spice or oak. Wild Turkey 101, Woodford Reserve, Double Oaked is my opinion, or the ever-present at my bar, Evan Williams Bottled & Bond, works beautifully here. The higher proof helps the bourbon flavor shine through the intensity of the blackberry and the lemon. The vanilla notes in the bourbon complement the berry flavors, while the natural caramel sweetness enhances the honey. Second, you're going to need fresh blackberries, 4 to 5 per cocktail plus extra for garnish. Seek out plump, deeply colored berries at your local market, or better yet, go and find a local farm where you can pick them yourselves. The darker the color, the richer the flavor. Blackberries reach their peak in early summer, making this cocktail perfectly seasonal. Their deep, jammy flavor adds complexity while their natural acidity balances the sweetness. Lemon juice, 1 ounce per cocktail. Always use freshly squeezed juice, about 1 medium lemon per cocktail. The bright acidity helps cut through both the sweetness of the berries and the richness of the bourbon, creating a balanced, refreshing sipper that's perfect for hot summer days. And then honey syrup, about 3/4 of an ounce per cocktail. This is going to add floral dimensions that plain simple syrup can't match. To prepare honey syrup, provide equal parts honey and hot water and then stir until completely dissolved. Let cool before using. Local wildflower honey works particularly well, adding subtle botanical notes that complement the berries. And then for garnish, fresh blackberries, lemon wheel, or a sprig of fresh thyme for an aromatic touch. Ice, always lots of ice. And then glassware. A Collins glass or a highball glass is ideal for this cocktail. The tall, narrow shape showcases the beautiful purple color while providing room for plenty of ice to keep it cold. For a more rustic presentation fitting the barbecue theme, a mason jar will work perfect as well. So in a cocktail shaker, add 4 to 5 fresh blackberries. Then using a muddler or the back of a wooden spoon and gently crush the blackberries to release their juice and essential oils. Then add 2 ounces of bourbon, 1 ounce of fresh lemon juice, and 3/4 of an ounce of honey syrup to the shaker. Fill the shaker with ice. Shake vigorously for 15 to 20 seconds or until the outside of the shaker becomes frosty. Prepare your Collins or highball glass by filling it with fresh ice, and then double strain the cocktail into the glass. If you prefer a more rustic presentation, you can use just the one strainer and allow some of the berry bits into the final drink. Then finally, garnish with a skewer, fresh lemon wheel, and fresh blackberries. If you want to do an elevated presentation, dust the berries with a touch of powdered sugar. Optionally, you can add a splash of club soda on top for that extra refreshment and effervescence that are especially nice on hot days. The blackberry bourbon lemonade pairs wonderfully with grilled chicken with a sweet and spicy barbecue sauce, grilled vegetables, especially those with nice char marks, or a smoky beef brisket. In closing, the blackberry bourbon lemonade is summer in a glass. It's capturing the essence of seasonal berries at their peak of ripeness while delivering a refreshing cocktail that stands up beautifully no matter what you're pulling off the grill. Its vibrant color and balanced flavor makes it visually appealing as it is delicious. But as always, I'm open to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
We're back in 60 seconds with Steve's interview with national traveler Steve Binkley.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hello, I'm David Roberson, Department Chair, Ben Barber Innovation Academy, Culinary Arts, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. And in the studio today, by the way, if I sound a little hoarse, had a little fun last night. So in the studio today, ChatGPT says that my guest is a prominent figure in Mansfield, Texas, known for his entrepreneurial endeavors and community involvement.
Steve, I'll say you don't look hoarse. You may sound hoarse, but you look great today on a Friday.
In the studio today is Steve Binkley, and we're going to find out why exactly I've brought him into the studio today. First of all, Steve, thank you for the horse comment, and welcome to About Mansfield.
Yes, sir.
What piqued my interest, and I can't remember where I came across this, but you have visited every national park in the country.
I have.
And so to me, it was like, I got to talk to this guy.
Okay.
And this is one of the favorite things of what I do is bringing people in and talking about them. And first of all, how long have you lived in Mansfield?
Yeah, you bet. And I'm thrilled to talk about this. I have a true passion for our public lands and our National Park Service. Yeah, been in Mansfield since the late 90s. My lovely wife and I have been married for 35 years, have 2 boys who born at Arlington Memorial Hospital and have grown up here in our community of Mansfield. Both are graduates of Legacy High School, baseball players there, and are off doing their thing in the world today. So, yeah, our National Park Service journey, I guess you could call me a bit of a quester, if you want to use that term. I've been to all 50 states as well, all 30 major league ballparks, although that's a moving target. The A's and the Tampa Bay Rays are in different parks I have to get to this summer.
Sure.
And then, this was a huge accomplishment. 63, they call them the big name parks, Yosemite, Yellowstone, Grand Canyon. 63 of those. There are 415 or 418 what they call national park unit sites, presidential birthplaces, and national seashores and the like. But the 63 big name national parks was a big accomplishment for us.
The 63. Now, I was in Montana just last week and found out something I've never known before, that Yellowstone was the first national park. When you visited Yellowstone, was that your first trip?
Yeah, so like you, I'm involved in a group of these aficionados, and we talk a lot about, facts about the Park Service. And of course, Teddy Roosevelt is widely known as kind of the founder of the Park Service in our country, and Yellowstone, of course. And a lot of people will count that in their top 5 of their favorite parks as well.
I've not been to Yellowstone. We went the other direction to Helena, but certainly a lot of traffic signs saying Yellowstone this way.
That's right.
And 63. Do you have a favorite?
Yeah. So this is a question I certainly get asked a lot. I used to say my favorite would be the next one. And it was kind of a glib way to say part of the fun is the journey.
Sure.
I really enjoyed the planning process, talking to others about their experiences. But now that, so you've been all 63, what's the favorite? I probably boil it down to my favorite experience in the park. And then quickly what that was at Hawaii Volcanoes National Park on the Big Island of Hawaii. So this active lava flow, when we visited, is kind of oozing down the hillsides, 1,200 degrees, and you can get close enough to feel like you're going to get burnt.
Right.
And taking a quick picture, but having that lava come down during the day and see it, and then at sunset and night pouring off the cliff into the Pacific Ocean. Oh, wow. Pretty cataclysmic and incredible experience, and something I still think about to this day is seeing the active lava on the Big Island of Hawaii.
And where in the list of 63, that probably wasn't your first trip. It wasn't your last trip. Where was that on the list?
Yeah, so first Carlsbad Caverns, which a lot of folks here in Texas have most likely been to.
Yeah, right out in New Mexico.
Right, yeah. Go ahead.
That was your first?
It was very first, yep.
Okay.
And so boys were young, and this is something we've done as a family, which, great experiences, shared experiences with the family. I mentioned 2 boys. Kind of challenge ourselves on big hikes and exploring new things. Great learning experiences, meeting with park rangers, learning about geology and geography and animals and sightings. So the first was Carlsbad Caverns. We have 2 incredible parks very near there in West Texas, and Big Bend National Park and Guadalupe Mountains near El Paso. And then the 63rd, the final, was back to Hawaii in Haleakala.
Sure.
But some very difficult parks to get to that are boats and planes and bush planes and seaplanes that are difficult to get to.
There were some in Alaska that what's Denali or Denali's the mountain, but is there a national park in?
So there's 8 total.
8 in Alaska.
And there's some very difficult to get to. There's some expense involved. I think the most difficult, Denali is one, and a lot of people will visit that. Not too difficult to drive to from Anchorage or Fairbanks, but there are two above the Arctic Circle. So Gates of the Arctic and Kobuk Valley National Park that really you only have access to for a couple months of the year, maybe July and August. And they require a series of flights to get to, near the Arctic Circle. And then from there, a float plane or a bush plane.
A bush plane, yeah.
So what's interesting.
I'm thinking Northern Exposure, if
exactly.
you remember that the TV show.
Great show.
Yeah.
And then so to get to the park, though, there's no visitor center. There's no park ranger. These are protected lands. But if you're going to go to all of them, you got to get to this one and you got to take some advanced planning as well.
How do you decide to what's my next park? So you've got a list of 63. I could go this way or I could go that way. What's the decision process?
Yeah. So with family travel, this has taken me 25 years. It's been an ongoing goal of mine. A lot of times we would combine a ballpark, a major league ballpark, like go to a Giants game and then go up to Yosemite National Park. But yeah, I mean, with the boys, both boys were student athletes, baseball players at Legacy High School, and then played through college. It turned out to be, okay, what are we going to do for spring break? What are we going to do for 2 weeks in the summer? And then making my parents angry about we're going to do either Thanksgiving or Christmas and go to a national park site. So over 25 years, sometimes you're in a certain part of the country, of course, you can see multiple. But plenty of trips have been a week-long trip. We spent a week in Yosemite, for instance, during spring break, and it was incredible.
How many are there any states in the United States that do not have a national park?
Yeah, so this is a great topic of discussion because some of this is political, right? Anything in our federal government is political, and I know one that has come up is Gateway Arch National Park, which is the St. Louis Arch,
right?
And people here are fairly angry that there's no bison, there's no nature. It's a man-made structure, but it is a full big-name national park. But yeah, I know like Delaware, for instance, so there are plenty of states that don't. I think every state has maybe one, what they call unit site, which I mentioned earlier, like a presidential birthplace. But there's several states that don't have. And some of that's nature-based, right? A lot of the parks, I think the majority of the parks are in the west. And when we get to the northeast, fewer. I know Acadia in Maine is a really incredible national park, but once you get on that eastern seaboard, there's fewer.
And driving the eastern seaboard is pretty spectacular. From what I hear in the fall, were you able to get out there and see the leaves change?
I know people, leaf peepers. Yeah, people love to get up there in the fall. I think Acadia we did over the summer, which of course in Maine is incredible.
63. Can you? I'm not going to ask you to name all 63, but can you? Do you have all 63 in your head?
I took a stab at this to do an alphabetical list. I'm not going to do it here on the air, Steve.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, this is something I became intimately involved with and acutely aware of all the names and where they are. So I can certainly put them on a map. The reality is they're special places and they sear into your subconscious. The reality is these parks belong to all of us. These are public lands. I know there's some consternation right now about some of the changes in budgeting in the Park Service, but if Wallace Stegner, you probably heard the quote, "This is America's best idea," right? These are special American places, and they should be protected.
When the topic first came up of this gentleman, Steve, has traveled to all 63 of the national parks, the first question that comes to my mind is why? and so what's the fascination?
No, it's a fair question.
Yeah.
Listen, we love Mansfield. Again, the family was raised here. But as you also know, I mean, it's fun to escape suburbia, right? Mm-hmm. We have suburban sprawl here, which is maybe good for business, but we also have a lot of concrete and roadways, as you know, in the Metroplex. Also have a world-class airport. So DFW, you can get anywhere in the country, of course. So I like that idea. I like the idea of expanding the horizons. As a baseball family, maybe we got a little focused on, practices and games and tournaments. And I wanted our kids to learn about the rest of the country. I was born in Ohio. I lived in Colorado, been here in Texas since the late 90s. So I know, though, how spectacular these places are. And I think we use it as a bit of a learning experience as well. The Park Service has something called a Junior Ranger program.
Yeah.
I told my boys, I don't care if you're 60 and I'm 80, you're still doing the Junior Ranger booklet. But growing up as kids, they did the activity booklet, which was interview a park ranger, learn about the foliage, let's talk about the animals in the park. And that was something that it was kind of graded and checked off by a park ranger. When you completed it, they get a badge. And we have something hanging in our house, which is all the 63 Junior Ranger badges, something we're very proud of.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Like someone collects quarters, and
of course
the quarters of all 50 states, but they don't have to visit all 50 states to collect these quarters. Was there a moment when you visited a park, the wow moment? For me, it was visiting the Grand Canyon and seeing it for the first time is like, wow. For you?
No question. So not like Chevy Chase and took a picture and drove away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think back again with the two boys and bless my lovely wife, Christy, who wasn't always so thrilled about big hikes and climbing mountainsides. But we found a way to challenge ourselves physically. Something that comes to mind is the Panorama Trail in Yosemite, and then starting from the top of the valley and hiking past 7 waterfalls into the valley itself. And that was a big physical hike. We've been fortunate to summit Mount St. Helens, which was a 12-hour full day round trip. That's actually a national volcanic site.
Wow.
But a big day with the boys, taking a picture at the top of Mount St. Helens and seeing the vista across. Pretty incredible. And these are things we'll remember and talk about forever.
That was quite an event. That Mount St. Helens, I know several people lost their lives when it erupted.
81 erupted, yep. It erupted down the hillside. It was a very unique eruption where the volcano collapsed and then all that ice and lava and rock went down the hillside. So, it was as high as, I think, 9,000 feet. It's maybe 7,800 feet now, and you can hike starting in the forest to a trail to the top. But really incredible. And then you can imagine the elevation gain plus hiking through the sand and the pumice is difficult, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, but what an accomplishment. We really talk about that quite a bit in our family.
I just brought up a list of the 63.
Yep.
And surprisingly, my wife and I, we do some traveling, and I was looking at this list. I thought, I've been to quite a few of these, not knowing that they are national parks. Crater Lake up in Oregon,
incredible,
was one of my favorite places. We did a planes, trains, and automobile vacation that involved Crater Lake, and
deepest lake in the United States.
Yes,
bluest, clearest water. They actually encourage you just to dip your cup in the water and drink straight.
Yeah.
I guess there's no inbound. There's outbound flow. But there's no inbound flow, so that's all just pure rainwater and snowmelt.
I have a photo hanging on my wall at home of Crater Lake, and yes, the deepest blue.
Yeah,
they say go to Lake Tahoe because it's blue. No, Crater Lake is the one. Petrified Forest, I did not know was a national park, and you can't miss Petrified Forest right on the way to the Grand Canyon.
That's right. Yeah, right off the interstate.
Now we were so close to Yellowstone. We were up in Montana, but
Glacier National Park is up there in that Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota.
Right.
I think I mentioned earlier we bought a Sprinter van. And that was a drive we took from North Texas up through Kansas, Nebraska, into Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota. North Dakota has Teddy Roosevelt National Park, I mentioned earlier, which is fairly remote. I think a lot of people's 50th state is North Dakota. Like you don't just accidentally show up in North Dakota, apparently. So
no, I just like, what are you doing here? Are you lost? And the one that you mentioned earlier, Haleakala, was another one that I did not know was a national park, and that's on the island of Maui, and my wife and I went up there. You have to drive through the clouds,
yes,
which is amazing.
Yes,
and one thing we learned. Now we were warned by a friend of mine who used to live in Hawaii. He says it's a fact of science that for every 1,000 degrees you go up, you lose 3 degrees of temperature. Haleakala is 1,000 feet. So if it's 70 degrees on the beach,
right,
it's 40 degrees just by a fact of science.
Right.
It's 40 degrees at the top of Haleakala.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a picture of her poolside in the morning and then in a full coat and shivering next to snow.
Oh yeah.
The same day on the peak of Haleakala.
Well, we were typical tourists and okay, let's hop in the car. Here we go. Da, 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 up to the top of the hill in shorts and t-shirts.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's really cold up here.
Right. And windy too.
So we just like Chevy Chase, we took a couple of photos, hopped back in the car, drove right back down. And I guess the thing to do on Maui or Haleakala is to watch it at sunrise, which we did not.
Yeah,
but
sunrise or sunset. We did not either. We had just gotten back from American Samoa National Park, which is a lot of people's final destination for the park, because another place you don't accidentally show up in is the islands of Samoa. So that required a flight from Honolulu, 8 hours. It's the only park Samoa is that's in the southern hemisphere, so it's below the equator.
Mm-hmm.
So we flew there first and then flew back to Maui. Maui's incredible, as you know. Haleakala is incredible. But it was kind of cool to, I guess, make the announcement to some of the park rangers there at Haleakala that this was my final park, and felt like a bit of a celebrity, right, amongst the folks at the visitor center. So great accomplishment. That's something I'm very proud of.
It took 25 years, and Samoa, when did you visit Samoa?
January of this year. Samoa and Haleakala were the last two.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you were greeted by the rangers. You told them, and
I did. Yeah.
There any type of celebration or anything going on?
If you do my son actually did, I guess, a quick Google search. I mean, there's 400 or 500 people. It's a lot, but in reality, it's not a lot who have done this, who have visited all 63. And it's again a moving target. I know some of the newest ones, White Sands, also in New Mexico, was a national historic landmark, and they made it a full national park. So, people like me and my group are like, okay, all of a sudden I haven't been to all of them. Like I haven't been to all the parks now because the A's are in Sacramento ballparks. So there's a big rush to kind of get this. It's a little silly. A lot of my travels, though, are based on a book that is basically setting goals and accomplishments. And this idea, if you have a terrible Tuesday, but you're working towards a summer trip and you're doing some planning, it makes it a little more tolerable. So, it's sense of accomplishment, having something on the calendar, working towards a goal, those things keep life interesting.
What's the planning process when you haven't visited a national park, and how do you decide which park to go to?
Yeah.
When, we're going back, you said it took 25 years. Let's go back 20 years.
Right. Well, you and I grew up with the old travel books like Frommer's and Fodor's, right? Where you would go to Walden Books and
or the AAA.
Yeah, right. Trip planners.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's obviously changed with the internet and then these social media groups. So I have a couple of groups that I'm involved in on X and on Twitter where we chat about the parks and chat about travel and discuss hikes and things. So yeah, as you know, it gets more specific and personalized from that, but still have an incredible bookshelf full of travel guides. And, there are incredible photographers too that have gone to spots that you'd like to visit that you can see and take pictures of as well. So that's been the motivation for me. Some of that is, okay, we're going to take the van for this trip, which is the recreational vehicle, little crowded with a group of 4. If my wife and I go somewhere, it's fine, but flights and hotels and things, there's some planning for that, right? And then, the parks are basically founded back in the 30s and 40s, so they're not really set up for big recreational travel vehicles,
That's
right?
True.
And some of these border cities have kind of grown up around the parks, but yeah, it does take some advanced planning, especially when you talk about some of these very remote parks in Alaska. The Virgin Islands is another one that takes some advanced planning. Dry Tortugas, which is off the coast of Florida, in a boat off of Key West. Florida. Took some advanced planning. But yeah, all worth it. I mean, these I'd turn around and do it all over again over the next 25 years.
I would assume your two kids have not been to all 63, or have they?
Yeah. So right, they have not. I've done a couple actually solo.
Okay.
Like if you just sit around waiting for the schedules to align, sometimes you're going to miss. So
your wife hasn't been to all 63?
She hasn't. No.
Okay.
So I would say she's probably been to 45, and same with the boys.
Yeah.
But this has been a Steve goal and challenge. They've been along for the ride. But she's also told me every now and then I'd like to visit a resort with a pool, right?
Sure. Yes. Yes. A hotel room with a spa and
not
a pool.
Not a dusty hike.
What advice do you have to anyone who has that same goal in mind? I'd like to see all 63 national parks.
Yeah. When I talk to people, and you made a great point, you've been to more than you think.
Yeah.
I'll usually ask somebody like, have you kept track, right? Because I'm a keep track kind of guy. And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, you've been to a lot of people have been to the Grand Canyon. So there you go, one, right? And then here in Texas, it's a popular destination. Go to Big Bend National Park.
I've never been.
During spring break, you got to pick a right time to go. That's the other part of it, right? You can't show up there in July. It's just far too hot.
Right.
I think they've actually had a couple of 100-degree days already this year in Big Bend, which is far west Texas on the Guadalupe, on the Rio Grande River. I mean, of course, educational, this idea of kind of planning something and then looking forward to it has been important to me. And I think that has, helped me kind of, again, like I said, get through some tough days and have something on the calendar. The book's called Happiness of Pursuit. It's a great book. Chris Guillebeau is the author, Happiness of Pursuit. And it's exactly that. It's having a goal, working towards an accomplishment, having something that you spend time on, planning. That's actually a fun part of the whole adventure for me.
And so people should read the book before.
The Happiness of Pursuit.
And it's not just about national parks. It's creating a goal and reaching the end. The end line is finishing the goal.
Of course, yeah. I mean, listen, you get in the weeds on work and career, and I think maybe as Americans we don't take as much vacation as we could, especially compared to Europeans.
Sure.
I love to travel to Europe too, but listen, this country has some incredible places and sites, and we've talked about a lot of them. So yeah, you don't have to fly to Europe necessarily. You can rent a van and camp and kind of bond with nature. Listen, I love Texas, but maybe we're not known in Mansfield for outdoors and nature, and that's a big part of the motivation for travel.
We're traveling around the country with Mansfield resident Steve Binkley, and we will pick up part 2 next week. In the meantime, this is the place where you will hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, engage, connect, amplify, elevate, share, love, support this podcast if you haven't already so you never miss an episode. It's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Enter your email address right there on the homepage. We will never, ever, 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 ever send you any spam. We promise.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts, Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor feature, Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without written consent is strictly prohibited. We thank you all for listening. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.